Hi and welcome to RCKicks. On today's show we're back working on the Clod Buster again. If you haven't seen the build and running videos for this truck, I'll put a link up here. Go check those out and then come back here after you've done that. What are we doing today? Well, we're fitting this beautiful carbon fibre chassis that come from Clod Shop into this massive truck. Now, what's the plan? Well, this chassis doesn't come with shocks, but in my parts bin I found 4 perfectly usable shocks that are the correct length that this chassis requires. Unfortunately, the traxxas set that I've just fitted to this one last week are too long, but doesn't matter. I'll sell them or I'll keep them for another project like I did with these ones. So I've got to fit these to this chassis, that's the next thing. Then I've got to take the gearboxes out, and then we've got to fit the top mounts and the bottom mounts that are in carbon from the Clod Shop as well. Right, let's crack on and get the shocks fitted to the chassis. Fitting dampers to the Razor 2 chassis is super easy. There's one in each corner. You have to reference the instructions to know what length of dampener to use, but luckily the ones I had lying around were okay. What I didn't realise is that 2 of them are fractionally longer than the other 2. Now this concerned me because once the wheels and the gearboxes are in, it will sit at an angle. I later found out that under acceleration it would pitch the nose too high, so I swapped them round and had the longer dampeners on the rear of the car. Removing the original axles was super easy. There's 3 bolts that hold the centre pin in, then you just have to disconnect the lower dampeners. This is only a 5-minute job, but obviously you have to do the exact same thing for the rear. So I've removed the rear axle and I've put everything back on that I'm not using. Now the reason I did that is I don't want to lose any parts, plus at some point I may build another one out of bits and pieces. I might pick up some axles or something like that and I want to build a different sort of monster truck, or maybe I'll just sell the whole thing. I don't know yet, so I thought it'd be best to just put back what I am not going to use. So let me just put it down because it's massive. Ugh. Right, now on the axles what you've got to do is you've got to put these carbon mounting points that are the lower link mounts, so that when you attach it to here it has something to actually bolt onto. So these are little carbon plates that you have to fit into this section here. Now there's only one hole drilled, I don't know if you can see, so you have to drill the other one, which is why I've got my drill out. Yes, I know this is a bit overkill, but that's the only drill I've got at the moment. And you have to drill another 3mm hole and then bolt through. Also it asks you to put 2 washers at the top and 4 washers at the bottom, which gives it the perfect upright location. Now once I put the on servo axle steering, you have to change these as well, so I'll have to come back and modify them a little bit later on, but they might not be here for a week or so, so I'll just carry on as I am, because I want to get these axles into my new chassis. Also I checked that the body will fit over here really nicely, and I'll just have to drill 2 more holes there, and that will bolt on, so this is going to fit over here really nicely, and it's going to look pretty mean. Unfortunately, well, maybe I can fill in these holes. Maybe I'll do that at a later date. Fill in these holes and blow it in. I do have enough blue left. Or maybe to get the weight lower down, I'll put a polycarbonate body on it maybe as an alternative. But I really like this body, so I want to use it as well. So I'm going to fit the other carbon bit to there, and then we're going to try and fit it to the chassis. So it's going to look pretty cool. And there's nothing like undoing everything that you've just did a week ago. Right, let's keep going. Apart from this small modification, everything else is pretty much plug and play. So if you ever wanted to return your Clod back to standard, you can do that with this chassis. The top carbon mount is a simple bolt-on. With the kit you get all the bolts, washers and nuts that you're going to need, so it's simply just remove the old parts and fit the new ones. Once the mounts are fitted to the axle, it's simply a case of bolting it to the arms of the chassis. Right, I've done one axle. Check it out. It's going to be mental. Obviously, I've got to do exactly the same on the other side, so there's no point you watching that. Yeah, really happy with it at the moment. There's lots of travel in there. Now, there's quite a lot of adjustments that I can make on the way it mounts to the gearbox and everything. So I've set it slightly, these arms slightly lower to try and compensate for these being shorter shocks than these ones. But once I get the body on and everything, we'll have to see how it sits and performs and moves and things like that, and I can make small adjustments. My only concern is that now that I have this front plate mounted on here, which is these two bars, I'm not sure whether the 3D printed servo on gearbox is going to work. So I'll have to wait and see. If not, I will buy them from the Clod shop. But we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully they will, because they were kindly made for me and they took a long time to print. Right, I'm going to do exactly the same on the front. So what I'll do is I'll cut it now, and when I come back we would have done exactly the same on the front, and it will be standing on all four wheels. I'll be right back. And that's the second axle in the car. Now it's sitting quite nicely. I've been playing with the shocks a little bit. The total travel is a little bit more than what I'd like, so I may go back and fit some spaces inside the shocks, but it works okay. My only concern at the moment is this: if I drive it, it goes up and down. So if you drive from the back a little bit harder, you get this sort of up and down feeling. So I'm not sure about that, but that may, being that both axles drive, it might not be a problem. Just thought if you drive from the back, it kind of raises and lowers it, so I don't know. Luckily today the servo on axles arrived, so I'm going to fit those. Looks like they're going to fit, even though I've had the modifications to get the chassis to fit, so that'll be cool. So I'll fit those. I am tempted later on to change them to the carbon fiber ones, just from a look point of view, because once I take these blue bits off, there's almost no blue left on it. But I'll try these first because they look really good, and a big thanks for sending them out. Right, what's next? Oh, I also drilled out the posts for the body, so the body now sits on the chassis. It's a side mounted chassis instead of the top, so it goes on like that. Oh, have I dropped it? There we go. No issues drilling the holes, just have to measure and be very careful. I am tempted to now go back and fill the holes on the top and then the chassis bed. You've got these two and these two here. I have enough blue left and some clear, so I'll probably go back and fill all those holes in, and the ones on the bonnet especially. They shouldn't be too difficult, but I'll do that when it's a bit quiet. What's next? Right, well, I've dug out the replacement electronic speed controller. I'm now going to fit the 880 brushed into the car, which I have, and connected up the motors. Now, I'm not keeping the silver cans. I'm going to fit these shortly, and that's the vintage Kyosho brushed mega motor, number 2477. I have two of them, so whoops, I have two of them, so I'll fit those in here. What else? Now this electronic speed controller will run 2 and 3S, I think, or is it 4, even up to 4S? 2 to 4S, so I'll probably run 3S in it. I'm thinking I'll do the battery in this orientation. I have got a few batteries and LiPo batteries, so I'll get the range out and see which ones fit the best. Being that I've got such a range of LiPo S's that it can take. I've also decided that how I'm going to drive the car. I still want to keep the rear steering, and I don't like the way that you steer with the front and then you have a switch or something to do the rears. But I found that you can get a 6-channel transmitter receiver where you can actually program it so that when you turn the main wheel right, both will turn, so it'll actually move the back wheels in the opposite direction, but you can program that. So I've bought one of those, and that's coming, but unfortunately it's coming from China, so it's probably going to take a few weeks for that to arrive. But I wanted it to be able to steer normally. I didn't want extra switches and stuff like that. I'll probably put some lights in it as well, since it's a 6-channel from that side, so that'd be quite fun to have some lights on the car as well. Right, what's next? We've got to fit the motors, and we've got to fit these servo mounts. So let's crack on and move on to that. Now this is where you can start to run into problems. When you have a piece of equipment that's designed to bolt onto a standard kit, but then you've already modified it, one modification can impact another, and that's exactly what happened here. Now this is not finished by a long shot, and all this will be changed. One thing you can see is by mounting the servos directly on the axles, you have so much more control and power to deliver to the front wheels and the rear wheels. Steering servos are in the front and the back. Now I've set up the front one, but the back one is purely there just to hold the wheels straight. Now I've got the 6-channel receiver coming, but that's going to take a while, so I didn't want to have the truck down for that long, so I fitted the front and the rear. Mainly the rear is just to hold everything tight and keep the steering straight, really. These 25 kg servos are pretty strong, so it will drive with the wheels just held by the servo. The front is all done. I've set the endpoints. I swapped over the suspension because it was riding up at the front too much when I was accelerating. I've taken it for a bit of a test run. Another thing I found is that this Hobby Wing electronic speed controller that I fitted will take up to a 4S. Now I don't want to put 4S through this, that's crazy, but it just so happens that I had a 3S that fits perfectly in this chassis. So this is the motor that I'm going to use. Having that extra power, when I took it for a bit of a test run not that long ago, it's feeding so much more power to the canned motors that it's got a lot faster. So I don't think it needs more power than that. So I'm going to hold off upgrading the motors from the silver cans to something else, as I don't want it to flip over all the time, otherwise the body's not going to last very long. And it felt more lively. Because it was pitching the nose, I swapped around the suspension, and I'm more happy with that now as it stops the nose from riding up. Now the body does hit full extension this back servo, but when that gets relocated to a different slot, then that will fix that problem as well. Right, let's take it for a spin in the garden and you can see what you think. So there you go, I hope you enjoyed that. It's coming along and the look is exactly what I had in mind, so I really am chuffed with it. Once I get the servos upgraded to the carbon and it'll look more simple at the front and back, it's going to look epic. I'm really enjoying it, and the truck is just becoming more and more interesting all the time, and the way it drives is getting better and better. Anyway, thanks very much. Please like and subscribe, and if you'd like to support the channel, head over to the RCKicks Patreon page. I'll put a link below, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye. Check out one of these videos for some more RC fun.